First question for Garrett. How did Silent Planet start out, and how did you guys evolve into what the band is now?
We started out in 2009, in about the summer of 2009, just kind of a bunch of college kids, and we were just really awful. Like most bands that start out just so terrible.
Yeah.
I feel so bad that like anyone ever went to the show. They were like a concerned friend. They wanted to see what terrible music their friends were making. And somewhere along the line, some of those people dropped off, and I had the incredible blessing of meeting some of the most talented musicians I've ever met, and I get to work with them. And we started touring pretty hard about a year ago, and that's kind of how we got to where we are now.
Wow, that's great. It's always good to have good musicians around you, but also good people. That's really special.
Yeah, they're my best friends.
For sure. Okay, my second question. Everyone knows that Silent Planet has a lot of faith and a lot of Christian beliefs. How do you feel the term Christian band? Do you like that, or do you feel like it puts bands in a box and kind of hinders what they can do?
Yeah, it definitely. It can definitely be boxed. I think Christian music is often like a genre, so it's like we're not really talking about Christian, the Christian message, or really anything besides like the Christian music market. And
Sure.
For us, we don't really care to be associated with the market that is Christian music, even though obviously we are working with Tooth and Nail Solidstate, and they primarily operate within that. But I think just as much as Tooth and Nail Solidstate wants to make good music, and I think the message as a Christian can often be very, varying from band to band. Obviously, we are
Absolutely.
we're telling stories about marginalized people throughout history who have really seen sort of the end of God as they knew it. So,
Sure.
so for us, that story will, vary. But yeah, so I guess we would say yes and no. Yes to be people that want to tell the gospel story and know as far as being a part of the Christian music market.
Okay. That's a great point you made. I think a lot of bands, they'd rather just let the music speak for itself. That's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and just put it. Hopefully, people give it a shot on their own terms, whether they're Christian or atheist or anything. I'd rather people engage honestly with real.
Absolutely. Okay, my third question: what is one thing you personally, Garrett, cannot live without on tour? When you're on tour, what you cannot live without?
Something that we cannot live without on tour.
It's a tough question.
Yeah, it's a good question. I would say like emergency in that category, maybe like NyQuil for all those people who are sick. Basically just a bunch of supplies for if you have the cold or flu. Because at any given point, every single person on tour will get the cold or flu.
It sounds like you have a little bit of a head cold yourself.
We're all virus and healthy. Like I don't think that's possible. Maybe in some crazy utopian future where all illnesses are eradicated from this earth. But in the next 20 years, I don't think that'll happen.
Yeah, the whole craze with Ebola and everything, you just gotta, man, tell you what, I cannot imagine how it is on tour, being around so many people, shaking so many hands, and you're like, oh, where's this guy's hands been?
Dude, I know. That actually crossed my mind, which is probably like the most dumb, like, EDFS frenzy, but like, when we go to like Dallas, I think where Ebola is, like that sort of crossed my mind. Like, man, what if someone's friends of the doctor?
Oh gosh.
Anyway, in all reality, I'm more about the people affected by what's happened. But still, crossed my mind.
Absolutely. Okay, question 4. What are the top 5 bands right now that you guys are listening to, or that you jam in your iPod or your MacBook or whatever? What are the top 5? And if you don't have 5, you can top 3. It doesn't have to be 5, but like bands that you want people to know about.
Bands that we jam in the band. Okay, so you got Paris, their new album. A couple of us really like that. There's a Swedish, I think there's a Swedish group called Dirty Loops that we actually had a show canceled on us in Oklahoma, and then the person doing the door actually got us in because he recognized us or something. So there's Dirty Loops. They're really cool. Who else are we jamming into? Probably Pauline. We were listening to them earlier. They're Oceana's new band. They're amazing. Artifacts Correo onto the nail. It's really, really rad.
Sure.
Let's see, our friends in Gideon and Fit for King recently put out albums. We love both those guys very much.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's some
I know Fit for a King, they're a Solidstate band. Ryan Kirby's actually a pretty good friend of mine. I actually know him really well. So we saw you post a status about, or I don't know if it was you, but it might have been Invent Animate posted a status about Fit for a King. And, those guys work hard and they're amazing. I would love to see Silent Planet tour Fit for a King.
Yeah, you should keep saying that. Maybe it'll happen.
Okay.
We would love that.
Yeah, it would be amazing. Question 5, what are your biggest influences, when it comes to bands, people, styles of music, art, etc.? What would be your personal biggest influence to make music?
Yeah, I think personally, I've always been really moved by You Without You, especially the lyrics of Aaron Weiss. It really inspired me a lot, and just a lot of kind of eclectic, literature sources, whether it's, I think Flannery O'Connor has always been a huge one. Obviously, C.S. Lewis, our name comes from C.S. Lewis, James Joyce, there's a lot of writers that come to play for me, and then that being you, and then I know the rest of the band probably all has quite a bit,
Sure.
I think it's kind of cool actually. A lot of our band kind of comes from various, whether it's parts of the world or just understanding the music or even genres. I feel like we're not all metalheads, and it's kind of fun to see how everyone is listening to different stuff. You can see how it comes through,
Definitely.
what they do, like Igor and going to jazz school and stuff. You can hear it in the music. It's really cool.
Can definitely hear the different influences in every song. It peaks to so many levels of genres. I can't even classify it as metalcore or anything like that.
Wow, thank you.
I wrote the review. Jerry, I don't know if he sent it to you guys, but I was the one that wrote the review for New Transcendence.
You did, yeah.
Okay.
I appreciated that.
No problem.
Really,
I actually really love this kind of music.
I really appreciate that.
No problem,
You
man.
really put yourself out there. Thank you.
Well, no problem. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. And I got a couple more questions for you. You got a couple more minutes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I know you guys got a show tonight at 7 o'clock, I believe. So I'm pretty sure you guys probably want to, crash somewhere and sleep.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Our good friend Tyler's just drunk. Always lets us crash with him when we're in Jacksonville. So.
Awesome.
Cool.
Okay, question number 6. How did you feel when you received an offer from Solidstate?
So initially they hit us up in October, and I was really stoked. That conversation just kind of fell off a little bit. And then, what was it? I think that conversation came back around about in March or April after we did South by Southwest. And if I'm being honest with you, the initial offer wasn't rad, and I wasn't stoked. After a lot of negotiations, kind of getting to know them, things kind of looked up quite a bit. So,
Awesome.
Yeah, it was kind of mixed at first, but now we're very pleased to be working with them. It's a very awesome, hardworking team of artists.
Awesome. Yeah, that kind of follows up to my second question. I mean, how does it feel being on a big label like Solidstate with bands like Demon Hunter, Emery? I think Emery's on Tooth and Nail actually, but even back to when Under Oath was on Solidstate. I mean, how does that feel to be a part of that? Just to be a part of that, you know what I mean? How does that make you guys say, "Wow, we're just a bunch of dudes, and all of a sudden now we're growing to be on one of the biggest labels in metalcore. And
it's an honor, man. I'll say in the I think in the early and mid, even into the late, like 2000s, I think Solidstate really was like the standard for like cool heavy music.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of labels that kind of just are like one trick ponies, and they kind of just like have a lot of bands who do something, and they do it well. That's cool. You know, that's what they want to do. They can totally do that. Something that I appreciate about Solidstate, and especially their past releases, I think they've really actually given something to like the music community, the kind of weird undergroundish music community of metalcore. I really do think Solidstate contributed to that, and awesome. So I've seen a lot of musical integrity, and I think a lot of us grew up on Solidstate. You know, for me, Haste Today, and
Haste Today is amazing.
Were like two really huge ones, and even like Living Sacrifice, you know.
Yeah.
So it's for us, you know, like undoubtedly, we're so stoked to be there, and actually a lot of the bands from like some of those older bands have hit us up, or we've gotten to know them, like the AVR guys. Wes Hudson posted about our album when it came out, so it's been cool to sort of connect with those bands that when I was a kid, I was like, you know, just climbing my way to the front, trying to jump off the stage and stuff. And it's just crazy, you know, to sort of see this kind of come full circle for us. And we're humbled and we're honored, and we just really want to make the most opportunity. You know?
Sure. You know, it's awesome to see a band with so much drive, you know, like you guys. And there's a lot of great bands on Solidstate. And as soon as they announced that they signed you guys and that The Night God Slept would be released in November, I was just like, man, this is going to be great, because these guys, you know, their past two EPs were amazing. I actually really loved your second EP more than the first, but I loved them both. You know, I think you guys are a great fit. I think there's a I wouldn't say a trend going on with bands of your style, but I think bands like you could just feel the passion more than others, and that's how I really feel about Silent Planet. I mean, I love it.
I really appreciate that so much. I think that means a lot. I can't even believe that you know about our first EP, so that's cool.
Well, I mean, I've kind of followed the underground bands for a while, and I mean, I know you guys aren't from Florida, so it was kind of hard for me to jump on that bandwagon, but as soon as I found that second EP, I'm like, man, I got to hear these guys' earlier material, and it just blew me away. And so, you know, I'm a big fan of Being as an Ocean, which you guys have a feature from Joel on the album, which I absolutely love. And so you guys kind of
put out the music video that he's in today. Yeah.
How did that come about, getting Joel on the album? That's not one of my questions, but I actually remember about how did that come about? Are you guys friends with Joel, or did you just kind of hit him up on, you know, like email via In Vogue, or how did that work? How did that come to light?
No, we played actually one of Being as an Ocean's first tours. Our bands ran into each other. This was in either March or April of 2012, and so we ran into each other, and Joel and I got talking about theology and God and stuff.
Awesome.
And he had approached me, and it was really cool. Like really stoked. I didn't really know anything about his band. He didn't know anything about our band, but we just kind of connected on really like a level of like of who God is and what we're passionate about.
Sure.
And I guess for us that friendship is kind of continued that way, where it's just I don't know, just being stoked on talking about the good stuff, you know, and having real conversations with each other stuff. He's an awesome dude, and when we were doing this album, I really wanted different people that not only do I respect as musicians, but on a very like local level. Actually, it's funny, everyone in Southern California that's on our album, but but also just like people that are not only friends of ours that I respect. I wanted them to be a part of telling the story, and so yeah, it was. We were really stoked to get Joel involved. Obviously, his band has really taken off in the last probably year and a half or so, to the point where it's probably even created listeners having him on it, which is funny. It's just not really the intention, but it's it's so great to have him on it. And it's fun to have him perform it at Soma when we hop on a show with them. So it's been really cool. I have a lot of respect for him and his lyrics.
Yeah, I really love his spoken word and just the passion he has. I mean, BNS Notion, they're probably in my top 5 along with you guys. So,
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
They're killing it right now, man. They're very savvy. They're doing it very well. And
Yes.
from what I hear, they're really popular in Europe. So I know that they're over there currently killing it in Europe, actually.
Awesome. How about international tour? You guys have that in the future, or is that something Solidstate kind of has under
Yeah,
wraps?
we would love to. I mean, we are a small American band. A lot of us never left this country. For us, and then you have someone like Igor who has lived mostly outside of this country. For us, man, we would love to go international. And from what we can tell, it's definitely, I think, coming up for us. But
Sweet.
we can't wait. I guess being a band that talks about international issues, tells stories internationally, about international stuff, it'll definitely, I think, make sense. We'll see if people like it, though.
I know that you guys would be big over there simply because there's a lot of great bands. Like you said, BNS Notion is very popular over there. That's what I've heard too. But there's another band that's from overseas that you guys would maybe know about or maybe like. They're called the Elijah, and they're actually their clean singer from BNS Notion is now singing for them, but they used to sing for the Elijah.
Mikey. Yeah, totally. He's such a sweetheart, actually.
He's a nice guy.
Got to know him a little bit in the recent past, and he's total babe. Really like that.
His cleans are amazing too, by the way. So, big shout out to him.
He's so good live. He was like really big actually recently when I saw him, and he still just like killed it. I was really impressed.
Absolutely, he's a very talented. He's very blessed. Okay, my 8th question, and probably going to be my final one. I got one more after that. Kind of switching topics here, but how do you guys feel about music pirating and downloading? Do you feel like it hinders the band or the business, or it benefits, or are you kind of like torn between the middle? How do you guys feel about that?
How do we feel about music pirating? Someone just yelled "yar," which makes me think that we support music pirating. I think legally I can't tell you. Well, probably shouldn't tell you to like download our stuff.
Absolutely. Don't want no
real,
complications.
It is flattering. Oh my gosh! Someone freaking posted our album like 6 days before it came out on the pirate high seas or the high seas of the internet. And,
Sure.
And I was like, that's crazy, man. Someone did that, and that's flattering.
So yeah, I know you probably can't legally say, go download our music because you're signed to Solidstate. I mean, that's like I said, it's kind of it's a really touchy subject whether or not it comes to a label or not, because there's a lot of bands out there that say, support the band, but there's other bands that have actually rose to more publicity because their album is out there on the internet. So it's something that'll be debated forever, I think, and I don't think they'll ever stop it.
When Radiohead dropped In Rainbows, like 2004 or something, that was a huge deal when they said, like, hey, pay whatever you want. Obviously, statistically, over 90% of people didn't pay anything for it.
Sure.
Mitch is driving right now. Just made a good point that, like, it's flattering that people want to put it up on the internet and find it and download it and don't want to pay, but it's also maybe unflattering because maybe for them it's not worth money. So I'm not really sure. But it's definitely, if you're listening to this and you pirated our music, we'd still love to hang out with you and have a burrito and stuff. So, yeah.
Have a burrito with Silent Planet, guys. Have a burrito. Okay.
Maybe you should buy it for us since you didn't buy our album.
Yeah. My final question. Who is Silent Planet, and what is your mission? I mean, obviously when you set out as a band, you kind of have some bands have a plan, other bands don't. But do you guys have a plan on what you want to do as a band? I mean, do you have a mission really?
Yeah, I think we do. At least to a degree. I think it's important to us to tell stories of marginalized people, and really continue, I think, creatively, and kind of continue to move and progress with our music and our storytelling, but also stay close to like stories of people that we feel should be told, people that whose memory should be preserved, not only because we can learn from the past, but also to know that the gospel is for the marginalized people, it's by the marginalized people, and it's really essential, I think, that that Christians and non-Christians alike understand like where the gospel message really is home.
Awesome. I think you guys have an awesome story. I love it, and the future is really bright for you guys because you're doing it the right way. And you know, from a personal standpoint, I'm a Christian myself, so I know everything that you guys talk about. It hits home for me, and it just
really cool.
Very ministering. And I think you guys have a really high ceiling. And I honestly, from where I'm sitting, I could honestly see you guys being as big as Under Oath one day. How you progress. Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's just for me. I mean, I don't know how anybody else feels, but I have a really deep understanding and love for this kind of music. And I want to see it become more popular, and I want to see it become a household name for the music scene. And I think if people can really grasp what bands like you are trying to do, man, I think that's going to be a great future for this kind of music. And I really appreciate you taking the time with me to for this interview, and for the, you know, it's a blessing. It really is. And I love you guys so much. You know, we definitely want to catch you on a show, and come out and meet you guys face to face. But New Transcendence, man, we just appreciate everything you guys have done, and we appreciate Jerry and just the whole label just giving us the opportunity to talk. And if there's anything else you wanted.
Yeah, we appreciate you giving us the opportunity to talk, and I hope we do. I hope we do get to hang out at a show sometime soon. We'll be back in this area. I know that we'll be back in this area actually probably in January.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Is there anything else you'd like your fans to know before we let you go? Anything cool or anything you guys kind of have pressing that you want to say?
Yeah, I do. We love you, and we'd love to hear your story. If you want to reach out to us, we'd love to reach back. And thank you.
Okay. Awesome. Well, this has been Silent Planet interviewing with New Transcendence. Catch them on tour this coming January. They got a new album out called The Night God Slept. You go out and buy it now. Can't really say go pirate it, but anyway, Garrett, thank you so much for the interview, man. I really appreciate what you guys doing, and you guys have a safe travel, and God bless, man.
Hey, God bless you too. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.